The museum has reified the artifact, while the spectator was allowed to move freely around the space. Film and animation has brought the artifact to life, but glued the spectator to a seat. Let us animate both the spectator and the artifact, even if the movement is merely copulatory. Movement is always beautiful. A walk is a broken fall. The first man who drew a human figure using computer software was a Boeing employee. The computer-created Adam looked like a sitting pilot. He was more than naked, soaring above the ground, flying from somewhere to somewhere else. The plane was his Eden. Until recently, we have used 3D graphics to visualize the future, architecture yet to be built, models of planes and consumer electronics. Seemingly, it is not something that would relate to the world here and now. A text from the 1870s describes a building of the Pont-Neuf Bridge in Paris in the 16th century. Architectural designs of the bridge made use of several illusionistic paintings called documentary perspective, in order for the public to make a more informed choice. It won't last long before documentary photography and film is replaced by 3D graphics. At last, we will stop looking into the past and quit devoting ourselves to annoying rituals of revival. As Janus, we will look in both directions, past and forward, without nostalgia. The word documentary will return to its former meaning. It will enable us to choose which of the worlds we want to make real. Using scans of the crime scene, investigators and judges nowadays verify the facts. What could have the witness seen after all? The virtual environment becomes the ultimate proof. In the 1980s, virtual reality was described as miraculous technology that would enable us to overcome the limits of the physical body and set us forever free from hereditary patterns. We would be able to choose from an infinite variety of bodies of various sex. Yet the virtual world is based on our knowledge of how reality functions. We cannot create it according to unconscious principles only to later discover them. Our new revolutionary bodies will inevitably remain under the rule of the old reactionary desire. Even if the prison changes in accordance with the prisoner's wishes, it is still prison. Just because we can choose its outlook, it does not mean that society existing in virtual reality will be egalitarian. We project onto it what we already know, recreating age-old relationships. The surface plays an important role in determining something as a self-sufficient unit. For most people, it is difficult to see the ant as a part of a complex organism, for it seems to be separated from other ants as an isolated individual living in the anthill. We perceive the blood flow in our veins as integral to the functioning of our organism. Yet the pheromones secreted by ants are not understood in the same way, even if they very well could be. Is the ultimate whole the ant or the anthill? It is up to us to determine the defining borders, the surface, the skin of an organism, etc. Is the human body a colony of microorganisms which cooperate in order to survive? Or is it simply a part of a more complex system, for example, the human society? Things around us form a part of our phenotype. Like our cells, they belong to our body. Inevitably, the relationship between what is human and what is artificial is unstable. It is a kind of fluid continuum. Therefore, defining a border separating entities must be necessarily a matter of politics. What are our politics? We decide on borders every day and every minute. While the watermill introduces a society ruled by a feudal master, the steam mill sets the scene for the industrial capitalist. Similarly, the organization of contemporary society is determined by technology. This system of values of commodities, created by human labor, has nothing to do with the system of values of things as they stem from their physical substance. It merely represents the social relationships among people disguised as the fantastic relationships among things. The projection of human ties and characteristics onto things in particular is the bedrock of commodity fetishism, setting the coercive conditions under which we live. 3D animation forms one aspect of this type of fetishism, and of our times in general. It is a method of how to breathe life into objects using electronic imaging devices. Thanks to 3D graphics, we desire objects the same way we used to desire social, or perhaps only the intimate erotic relationships. Our desire comes to life. While people and their desires are objectified, commodities are anthropomorphized. With the spreading of pornography that can be viewed on the screens of phones, tablets, and computers, as I.P. Pavel explained it, we can become aroused just by looking at these devices. Why is it important? The hope and revolutionary potential lies in this love of commodities. Commodity fetishism can be overcome only by its affirmation and radicalization. When every component of machines and commodities around us is oiled with sexual fluids instead of grease, we will not want to own them. The real love gives up on the right to own, let alone to accumulate property. The living and the dead of the world unite.